Hey guys, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Becca and today I have Becca's Bookopoly round 11. So if this is the first Bookopoly video that you are seeing from me, I will link a video up here that gives you all of the rules of Bookopoly and also a full tour of the board. But essentially this is a board game that I play every month that will pick the books that will be on my TBR for the coming month. But as this is round 11, I'm sure a lot of you know what's going on here, so let us hop into it. So before we get started on the actual content of this video, I feel like I need to give you guys a few disclaimers, if you will. The first one is that my background is a work in progress. This is the first video, like official video on my channel that I am filming in my new house and I haven't got things figured out yet. I'm not happy with how this looks, but I don't know what else to do right now. The second thing you may have already noticed, and that is that we have a bit of an echo, but over the coming weeks hopefully that will disappear. But the room is quite empty at the moment. I don't have a lot of soft furnishings and so we are a little bit echoey. So in the month of November I will be participating in a 1 month long readathon that is hosted by the lovely, the wonderful Gavin Hetherington. The readathon is called Believethon and it centres around reading children's and middle grade books. Gavin has put a lot of work into this readathon. He has like a whole compendium that you can print out with all the prompts in and also some recommendations, and he has been making a whole ton of content on his channel with things like recommendations and of course his own TBR. So I will of course put his announcement video for the readathon and a link to his channel in my description box. I am, as I said, participating. However, I'm not sure how many children's books Bookopoly is going to allow me to put on my TBR this month, and so if I don't get many in here, I will be posting a follow-up TBR that will just contain my books for Believathon. The kind of main goal of the readathon is to read at least one children's book per week, which I am definitely aiming for, but there are 10 prompts in total and I have picked out a book for every prompt. Which ones I'm actually going to read, I do not know yet, but I will definitely 100% be trying to hit that goal of reading at least one children's book per week. As I said in the little disclaimer, everything here is a work in progress. I have just moved. I moved less than 3 weeks ago still and nothing is sorted. I still don't have one room that is even kind of livable in at the minute. So once again, I am hoping that Bookopoly is going to be kind to me because I have not read a lot in October, as you are going to see in a minute. And while things should be just a slight bit easier throughout November, I'm not going to have a lot of free time. I'm just really not. So with that being said, I'm now going to show you the books that were on last month's Bookopoly and we will see how many of those I managed to read. So Bookopoly was not kind to me in October and I had 7 books on my TBR. They were Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn, which was my punishment book for not completing September's Bookopoly. Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir, that was to read a sci-fi. My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix, which was for the challenge to read a historical fiction. The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak, which was a viewer recommendation. The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon, which was a book set in a dystopian world. An Ember in the Ashes by Slabber Tahir, and then also The Truth About Forever by Sarah Desson, which were both community shelf cards. Now on top of that, there is a book that I've lost that I will just get. And then as well as that, we also had Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, which was for the challenge to read a mystery or a thriller. Now of these 8 books, of these 8 books, I managed to read one in the month of October, and that was The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon, and then I read less than 50 pages of Ninth House. That is all. And you know what that means, right guys? It's punishment time. However, there is a slight twist to the punishment this month, and that is that I have received a lot of comments both on last month's Bookopoly TBR and on the vlogs that I've been posting recently, my move-in vlogs, where people have said that they don't think that it's fair that I should be punished for not completing October's Bookopoly. So I'm gonna let you guys decide. Here I have my little pot of bad books. These are books that the people of Twitter have said are the worst books that they have ever read. I'm going to pick one out at random. I will show it to you guys, but I'm also going to put a poll in the cards, and then you guys can vote whether you think it's fair that I have a punishment book this month. Honestly, if I have to read the punishment book, I don't mind too much, but then again, also obviously my life would be a lot easier if I didn't. So essentially, I'm gonna leave it up to you guys. I moved in the month of October. Life was extremely hectic. I think I've read 4 books in total, maybe, over the course of October. So some of you guys don't think it's fair that I should have to have a punishment book, but like I said, poll in the cards, let me know what I should do. But without further ado, let's pick my punishment read. Let's dive deep. There's a lot in here. This one. Okay, so my punishment book for not completing October is is going to be Mirage. Okay, so I didn't write the author name, but I did write the person who recommended it on Twitter, somebody called Sasha. If it is the Sasha that I think it is, I only know one Sasha, but that tweet went really big, so it could be anybody. But Sasha, if you're watching this, is it this? Is it this Mirage? Because I have this one. So if this is my punishment book, I honestly don't mind. I think this is an Owlcrate edition that I have. Yeah, that Ryan bought for me for Christmas last year. This was a 2018 release. It's Mirage by Samaya Dowd. I don't know too much about this one. I do know that it is a science fiction, and I believe that originally I thought it might have some sort of genie aspect, but somebody in my comments, I think, told me that this is a Moroccan story, but set in space. So if you guys think that I should have a punishment book, then it definitely could be worse, because not only have I previously been excited to read this, it is also pretty short. So let me know whether you think I should be punished for not finishing October's Bookopoly. But for the moment, Mirage by Samaya Dowd is the first book going onto my November TBR. And now that all that is said and done, let us get into our first roll. Okay guys, so last month we finished on Community Shelf, first roll. Fuck, not a good time. Viewer recommends. Okay, so it seems that Bookopoly has already determined that it is going to be a pain in my ass in November, and we landed on viewer recommendations. So as with last month, we will head to my video called My Entire Own TBR that I made last December, and I will use a random comment generator to pick a comment from that video, and whatever book is in that comment will be the book that I read. If you guys want to contribute to the viewer recommendations pick, I will link that video up here, and you can go and check it out, see all the books on My Entire Own TBR as of last December, and tell me what you guys think I should read. But for now, I will be coming over to the other side of the camera to see what viewer recommendation I will be reading in November. Okay guys, so here is the random comment generator. I will just paste the URL in. Okay, there's 48 comments. Let us start. Okay, the winner is India Hunt. Please read The Shock of the Fall soon. It's one of my favorite books of all time. Okay, so the viewer recommendation for November is going to be The Shock of the Fall by Nathan Filer. I don't have any idea what this is about. I think it may be a literary fiction or a contemporary actually. So I will just read you the back because it is only just one paragraph. I'll tell you what happened because it will be a good way to introduce my brother. His name's Simon. I think you're going to like him. I really do. But in a couple of pages, he'll be dead. And he was never the same after that. I don't know. Is it paranormal? Is it fantasy? Is it a mystery thriller? I don't know, but The Shock of the Fall will be read in November. Roll number 2. 8. A mystery or a thriller. So roll number 2 is a mystery or a thriller, and I am going to go right ahead and add Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo back onto my TBR. I did say that I have read 50-ish pages of this month. I'm currently on page 48 of this. Honestly, I'm filming this on the 30th of October. You guys will see it on the 31st, and I can tell you I will not be picking this up before the end of the month because I'm currently reading another book and I'm making a lot more progress in that one right now. And even though I am used to juggling 2 books at once because I'm kind of busy, I can only really manage one right now. So this is the story of Alex Stern, who is a high school dropout, and she has just received a full scholarship to Yale because she can see ghosts. When she is at Yale, she is recruited into the Ninth House. That's essentially the reason that they gave her the scholarship, so that she could join the Ninth House, which is the 9th secret society at Yale. And the Ninth House is responsible for making sure that the magic that is practiced by the other 8 secret societies is kept under wraps and controlled and nobody gets hurt. Now we do have 2 main characters and 2 timelines in this book as far as I'm aware from where I've got up to. Our 2 characters are Alex and Darlington. I don't really know too much about Darlington right now, apart from at the Leigh Bardugo sign-in she said that he was a snob. But regarding the 2 timelines, in one of them we follow Alex in the fall as she has just started at Yale and she's being recruited into the secret society, and the second timeline is the following winter where Darlington seems to have gone missing. The 48 pages that I've read of this so far I did really enjoy, so I'm definitely excited to be continuing on with this. I wish I could prioritize it, but I just have no time to do anything right now, but hopefully I will be able to get to this and finish it in November. Roll number 3, 4, which is a chance card, and that is All the Birds in the Sky by Charlie Jane Anders. So roll number 3 3 was a chance card. Now, we haven't had a chance card in a while, I don't think, but the chance cards are essentially 8 books that I'm really excited to read and 8 books that I'm not too excited about anymore. Now, the one that we picked this month was All the Birds in the Sky by Charlie Jane Anders, which fortunately is one of the ones that I am excited to read. So I think that All the Birds in the Sky was a 2017 release. I was really excited about it when it was released. I picked this copy up secondhand not too long after its release. I'm not sure if this is science fiction or fantasy. I think it contains elements of both, but this follows 2 main characters. One is a witch and can communicate with animals, and one is a scientist and inventor. Now, as for the plot, I believe that there is some kind of conflict in the world, and these 2 characters, who were friends in college but have grown apart, are both working towards solving this problem. However, one of them will be using witchcraft and one of them will be using science. As these are 2 very opposing fields, I imagine that they will clash, but I think that this will also be a story of friendship. As far as I'm aware, this has nothing to do with the book, but it is worth noting that Charlie Jane Anders is a trans author. I'm not sure if there is any trans rep in the actual book, but if there is, it will be own voices. Roll number 4. 11, which is a community shelf. Read the first book you own and haven't read on your Goodreads update feed. So roll number 4 was a community shelf card. We are really hammering these cards to death this month. But this one is to read the first book that I come across that I own and haven't read on my Goodreads update feed. So I'm just going to open Goodreads to the homepage, scroll through, and whichever book comes up first that I own and haven't read will be the book that I read in November. Okay, so let's open Goodreads. Here we go. Sadly, I don't have an arc of that. I don't own that or that. Oh, no, wait, that's me. Oops. Why is that there? Did somebody? No, that is just me. Wow. No, sadly not. We could be here all day. Oh, I've read that. Oh, The Thief by Megan Wallen Turner, which Cornelia has just rated 3 stars, which isn't really a great selling point. So the first book that I saw that I actually own and have not read is The Thief by Megan Wallen Turner. This is the first book in the Queen's Thief series, and this is a book recommendation that I got from Reagan from Peruse Project. She absolutely loves this series, and I thought it was a reasonably new fantasy series. This is adult fantasy, I believe, but I know it was published a lot longer ago than I thought it was. Yeah, it was first published in 1996, and I'm pretty sure this series is still ongoing. So the problem with all my books kind of being left to chance this month is that I don't know a lot about them. This one pretty clearly follows a thief. I have just read the synopsis, and I believe this thief is captured, and he is offered a chance to earn his release, I guess, if he goes and steals a legendary object. Guessing the Queen asked him to do this. That is all I know about this. As I said, this was a recommendation from Reagan, so essentially she likes it, I saw it, I thought it might be something that I was into, and I also found this secondhand in a charity shop, so I snatched it up while I could. Plus side though, this is really short. I remember there were 2 things that I was really shocked about when I found this book. The first is that it's so old, and the second is that it's tiny. Roll number 5, 7, which is to randomize my Goodreads TBR. Oh god. And so roll number 5, we landed on go, which is to randomize my entire Goodreads TBR and read that book no matter what it is. Now, just for some context, I don't clear out my Goodreads TBR shelf. I do go through it every few months and I remove duplicate editions. So if I read a book, sometimes it doesn't remove it from my to be read shelf because it's marked on to be read as a different edition. So every few months I do go through and clear through that. But essentially, if I've ever been interested in a book and added it to Goodreads, it's still on there, and then all of the books that I own are on there as well. So this could be absolutely anything, and this always terrifies me. So as you guys can see, there are 589 books on here. I'm scared. They're in number order from the date that I added them. Let's just go to my random number generator. 589 is the max. 391, so somewhere in the middle. Okay, so 390. Let It Snow by John Green? Really? So Goodreads has spoken, and in November I will be reading Let It Snow by John Green, Lauren Miracle and Maureen Johnson. This is one of the John Green books that I haven't managed to read yet. I haven't heard great things about it, to be honest, but I do own all of John Green's books, and I think there's only 3 left that I haven't read. I don't know too much about the plot of this, but as far as I am aware, this is a kind of collection of short stories by these 3 authors. However, all of these stories intersect. The only other thing I know about it is that they are winter or Christmas stories, so at least I'm reading it in the right season, I guess. And then the last thing I know about it, I'm just assuming, but I'm gonna say that this is probably a contemporary story. Regardless, it has been added to the TBR and I will probably be reading it in November. And lastly, roll number 6, or hopefully lastly, or not, like that's cool. Community shelf again. Scribd recommends. Just when I thought that this hell would be over, not only did I roll another double, the second double of November's Bookopoly, but it is another random prompt. So we got yet another community shelf card, which is the 3rd card of the game, and this one is to read a book that has been recommended to me on Scribd. So Scribd is a subscription service. This is gonna sound like an ad. It's not an ad, but just letting you know what Scribd is. Scribd is a subscription service that has unlimited access to audiobooks and ebooks in the library. The audiobooks are restricted. I think you can only listen to 3 or 4 per month, but the ebooks, as far as I'm aware, are completely unlimited. I only very rarely listen to audiobooks, so I actually mainly use Scribd for its enormous ebook library. Once again, gonna sound like an ad. It's not. If you do want to check Scribd out, I do have a link down in my description box. If you click on that link, you will get a 2 months free trial of Scribd. I have absolutely nothing to do with Scribd apart from the fact that I use it, I pay for it, and this isn't a code that's unique to me. Everybody gets one when they sign up to Scribd, but if you do click on that link, you will get a 2 month free trial instead of 1 month, and then I will also get 1 month added on to my subscription. So if you do want to check them out, because like I said, I use their ebooks pretty damn frequently, and there are a lot of audiobooks on there as well, then the link is in my description box. But essentially, like any other website, as you are using Scribd and the more you use Scribd, it will start to generate recommendations based on the books that you have read or listened to. So like with every other challenge this month, I'm gonna come around, I'm gonna open Scribd on my phone, and we'll see what Scribd suggests that I read, and we will pick one. The only rule of this is that I'm not going to pick a book that I own physically. I want it to be something that is exclusively on Scribd, because I do scroll through Scribd a lot and be like, oh, I want to read this book. But my TBR is huge because I own a lot of books, so I never actually get around to reading anything that I don't own that is available on Scribd. Okay, so Scribd. So these are the books that I've been reading on here. This is the first row of recommendations, which are just general recommendations. There are also books like similar to books that I've already read using Scribd, but I think I'm gonna start with the books recommended for you, just the general recommendations, and see if there's anything I fancy. If not, we'll scroll down a little bit more. So Cersei, I don't own it, I want to read it. Ashley's probably gonna be screaming at me right now because I'm about to scroll past it because I just don't feel like reading it yet. Michael Crichton, I want to read Jurassic Park before I read anything else by him. This I've heard good things about, but I know absolutely nothing about it. I don't really know why this and this are recommended for me. The selection I own, so I can't read it. This is a middle grade, so it would be great for Believathon, but it's a collection of short stories, I think, which I'm not super into. I own the Savage Song, so I can't read that. Sadly, I own all the Gossip Girl books, so I can't read those. Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, I've read, I really like that book. I don't own it though. More Gossip Girl. Ooh! Castle in the Air by Diana Wynne Jones. I think I'm actually gonna go with this because not only is this a children's book, it's the second book in a series. Okay, so Scribd has recommended that I read Castle in the Air by Diana Wynne Jones. This is, as I said, a children's book. This is the second book in, I'm not sure what the series is called, but it is the sequel to Howl's Moving Castle, which is a children's book that the Studio Ghibli movie Howl's Moving Castle was based on. I read Howl's Moving Castle earlier this year for the Ghibliathon and I really loved it actually. I gave that book 5 stars. I loved it so much. In Howl's Moving Castle, we follow a girl called Sophie who is cursed by the Witch of the Waste due to a misunderstanding, and this curse turns Sophie into an old woman. Now, Sophie is quite fed up with her life, so on a whim, after that happens, she just decides that she's gonna go walk off into the hills and find her fortune. When she's doing that, she does come across Howl's Moving Castle and she wanders in to find shelter, and that kicks off a whole chain of events. Now, Castle in the Air, I'm not entirely sure what that is about, and I know that it doesn't follow Howl and Sophie, sadly, but I do know that Howl and Sophie make an appearance in both that and the other book in this series. So I'm definitely happy to be reading this because I have been wanting to continue on with the series. As for the Believathon, I'm not sure what prompt I'm going to count it for. You will have to tune into my Believethon TBR to find out. But I do know it contains magic, so it could go for the prompt to read a book that contains magic, but I'll just see where I can slot it in. Maybe our last roll number 7. A double 3. I'm not sure if you saw that, but that's a double 3. She's a paranormal or a magical realism. Roll number 7. I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited for this hell to be over. I give you permission to click out of this video right now because it seems that it's never going to end. So roll number 7 is to read a paranormal or a magical realism book. For that, I will be reading The Mime Order by Samantha Shannon. This is the second book in the Bone Season series that I am reading for Boneathon, which is a read along for the 3 books that are currently published in this series, hosted by Ashley from Frolic Through Fiction. This is the second book and we'll be reading it in November, and then the last book, The Song Rising, we'll be reading in December. I will link Ashley's announcement video down in the description box though, so you can check it out as there is still time to get involved. But this series essentially has every single genre. There are science fiction aspects in here. There are also fantasy aspects in here. It's set in a dystopian world. There are also ghosts in here, so that feeds into like the supernatural paranormal aspect. And then there's also this mysterious species or race of creatures, which may be sci-fi based or maybe paranormal based. It's hard to tell, but there are a couple of paranormal aspects in here, so we'll count it. So the Bone Season by Samantha Shannon does follow Paige Mahoney, who is a clairvoyant in a world where it is illegal to be a clairvoyant. This takes place in a futuristic London that to me is very reminiscent of George Orwell's 1984, in that the government is always watching you and can see everything that you do. Now, it is illegal to be a clairvoyant. Paige is a very powerful one, and because of how illegal this is, the clairvoyants have banded into crime gangs, and with Paige being so powerful, she is the militia for one of the most powerful crime gangs in London. One day, Paige does get caught using her ability. She is captured and she is taken to this mysterious place that just completely opens up the world and completely blew my mind, so I won't tell you much about that, but that place is where most of the paranormal aspects come in. This series is also a reread for me. I read these a couple of years ago, but the 4th book is being published at the beginning of 2020, so I'm kind of doing a recap with the read along, and I did very much enjoy my reread of the Bone Season. However, out of the 3 books that have currently been published, this is the one that I remember the least about, so I'm excited to dive back in and refresh my memory. Maybe last, maybe not last roll. Roll number 8. A double 5. Fuck me, kill me. Which is another mystery or thriller. Roll number 8. We're on roll number 8, guys. That is how many? 3 doubles now? 3 doubles? And I'm just about to lose my mind. So for roll number 8, we landed on a mystery or a thriller. Now, I have spoken to Gavin regarding this book, so if you guys disagree with me on this book, then please take it up with Mr. Gavin Hetherington, because he has assured me that this book does fit into this genre. And that book is Frost Heart by Jamie Littler. So this one is definitely on my Believethon TBR, as this is the group book for Believethon. Gavin, as you can probably tell, reads a lot of children's and middle grade books, and this is now his favorite children's book of all time, aside from like nostalgia ones from when he was a child himself, which was like yesterday. Gavin also kindly sent me this copy. He has been doing a whole ton for the promo of this book, and honestly it's just mind-blowing the amount of stuff that he does for the things that he's passionate about. So thank you very much, Gavin, for sending Frost Heart to me. I was going to buy it anyway because it is the group book for Believathon, but I am eternally grateful to Gavin for sending this to me. As for the plot of this, once again, I don't know. I'm normally a lot better. If this is your first Bookopoly video that you're watching, I'm normally so much better with my plot synopses, but this has been a wild one. So when I go out and buy books, I do normally look at what they are about. However, it's a little bit different with this one because it was a group book for Believathon. I was just gonna buy it anyway, so what it's about doesn't really matter to me because my decision has already been made. So all I can really tell you about this is that this is a polar fantasy. It's set in a wintry, snowy setting, and it follows a boy whose parents are missing, and then I think he gains magical powers and then maybe goes looking for his parents. I'm not sure, but like I said, Gav said this is his favorite children's book of all time now, and that is like a seriously like high endorsement of this book, so I'm very excited to read it. As well as that, this is the Waterstones edition, and it does have these super cool spread edges, and I am excited, of course, to get at least one of the books that I actually intended to read in November anyway for Believathon on the official Bookopoly TBR. Once again, maybe our last, maybe not our last roll number 9. 6. a young adult fantasy. And finally, we reached the last book in this TBR, and that is a young adult fantasy. And for that, of course, if you have been following my vlogs and my TBRs and everything, you will know the young adult fantasy that I will be reading is Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. I have been buddy reading the entire Grishaverse with Jade from January Reads. We do just have Crooked Kingdom to read, which we will read in November, hopefully. We were supposed to read it in September, but then we just didn't. But hopefully we will be reading Crooked Kingdom in November, and then King of Scars in December, and then we are completely done with the Grishaverse. So this is a very well-loved book on BookTube, so I'm sure a lot of you guys already know what it's about, but this is the second book in the Six of Crows duology, which follows Becca, who puts together this like ragtag band of misfits and criminals to pull off this impossible heist. Now, it's a very diverse book. There's like disability rep, POC rep, survivors of sexual trauma rep, there's also learning disability rep in there, there's LGBT rep, and the way that it's woven in doesn't feel like diversity bingo. Everything feels kind of seamless, and the representation kind of is just woven in there. This series is also very character driven. It definitely focuses on the Six Crows more than it focuses on the heist plot line. However, Six of Crows did leave off on this massive, not necessarily cliffhanger, just like a massive event, which we will see the reconciliation of in Crooked Kingdom. So I'm kind of excited to see how that goes, and I think something pretty traumatic happens at the end of this as well, so I'm excited to find out what that is. So that is it for November's Bookopoly, or at least the Bookopoly portion of my TBR. I do just have one more book to add to my TBR for November though, and that is A Dance with Dragons Part 2 by George R.R. Martin. This is the last book, the last published book in the Game of Thrones series, and I'm hosting a read-along for this entire series. I haven't finished Part 1 yet, so that will also be on my November TBR, but I'm not quite sure where it is. I'm just over 100 pages into that, and then I have to read the entire second part. So yeah, as you guys probably know, this is an adult epic fantasy series that is multi-perspective, and it follows the high houses of Westeros as they all fight over control of the country. There are a lot of magical aspects in here as well, but this does also contain a great deal of political fantasy. I'm really enjoying the series so far. Kind of surreal that this is the last book in the series because I've been reading it for so long, but I'm hoping that not long after I finish this, Winds of Winter will be announced, because I don't really want to reread all these books anytime soon because they are hella big and hella dense. But that is it for half of my November TBR, because like I said, we have a full Believathon TBR coming as well. So I'm going to lift up my TBR off the floor if I can and show it to you because it's big already. Here are all the books. Help. Here are all the books that I'm going to try and get to in November. Oh, my phone's in there. I should take that out. That's why the stack's so wobbly. And the sad thing about it is, as I said, I don't anticipate actually reading a lot in November because life and yeah. So please don't forget to vote in that poll and let me know whether you think that I should read the punishment book for this month or not. As I said, it was quite a good pick, so I don't mind too much, but if you guys don't think it's fair, then that's absolutely fine. You can see my TBR is huge. So if I don't read it, I mean, no hard feelings. And please, of course, also let me know if you have read any of these books and which ones you are most excited for me to read. But that is it for this month's Bookopoly. I don't know how long this video is. I don't know how much footage I have, but it's a lot. It's a lot of footage. Please don't forget to like this video if you liked it and subscribe if you want to. If you head into my description box, you'll find a link to my Goodreads, Instagram and Twitter if you'd like to follow me on any of those, as well as a link to my Bookish body butter and candle website, the Instagram for that, and 10% off discount code. That's it from me today, guys. Bye.
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you will go where nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.